Good morning, you guys. Welcome to my channel. Today we're just gonna have story time. I'm just gonna chit chat on this beautiful rainy Saturday morning. I'm in McDonald's. I had a funny story. I started to do this video, right? And I ordered a sausage egg McMuffin with my small coffee. And so I started the story, and the video cut off. Come to find out, I had to delete a lot of stuff that I had in storage, so I could do this video. And so this, I just wanted to talk to you guys this morning. It is a cold and rainy morning here. It's just the rain slowed down a little bit, but the rain slowed down a little bit. But when I first came here, it was like pouring down rain. And I have like my rain gear, right? My raincoat, my rain pants. I have them on. My whole rain gear is thin, so I'm really warm. And then I have on this thick coat. Um, so I learned my lesson from last time. Last time I had like these flimsy shoes on, and I was like walking, and my feet got wet. I don't like wet. My socks were wet. I hate that. I hate that. So I got some boots, and I said next time I'm coming prepared. But I was just thinking about reflecting on my life, and my upbringing, and for some reason, the rain does that. It's like melancholy, makes me think about, you know, um, where I am and where I came from. And as a black female, I was watching this video, Larry Jones, back in the 1960s. He took a bunch of kids and he like educated them on who they were. I think he would take them on trips to Africa, but what he did is he created a theater for black children, creating awareness, right? Back in the 60s, back then, I was like 10 years old, so I was watching the video of them this morning. I'm like, oh, I was 10 years old, and here I am, 64 years young, but I feel like I'm 25. How about that? Um, I know. Every time she do a video, she got that same beanie on. This is my favorite beanie, y'all. Matter of fact, this is my only beanie. I gotta buy another one. This is like $25. That's why I have not bought another one. Okay, I'm gonna like get my money's worth with this beanie, child. But it'll change up soon. But don't worry about it. Uh, Mind your business. What's that? What's her name? Tamra. No, what's her name? What was that woman's name? She's so cute. She always does these videos and she always says, "Mind your business." But I'm gonna be all over the place. Y'all know me. I'm always all over the place with my stories. But getting back to my stories, I was just thinking about my mom. And my mom passed away when she was like in her mid 70s, right? Over 5 years ago. And my mom had six kids, five girls and one boy. My brother passed away over a year ago. He was hit by a car. So it's five of us left, five girls. And the sad thing is that we're not really close. We talk every now and then. If I don't call them, they won't call me. And at first, that bothered me, that why don't my sisters call me? Why do I always have to call them? And God said, let that go. Let that go. When you're ready to talk to them, just give them a call and just show love anyway. So that's where I am. But for a minute, I was like, going back and forth, and okay, if they don't call me, I'm not calling them anymore. If they don't, want to have me in their life, I took it as them not wanting having me in their life. But the fact is, they have their kids. I don't know if this is an excuse or not, but I don't know. It's still to this day, even though God told me to go ahead and call them when I want to talk, I still feel some kind of way with them not calling me, and I try to get over that. And I'm working through it. I'm working through it. But getting back to my mom, when my mom was young, she lost her mom when she was a little girl. Her mom passed away when she was a little girl, and her mom, my grandma, had a bunch of kids that were like all spread it out. So my mom had a bunch of brothers, and she had like two sisters. But she had like a bunch of brothers that were spread it out throughout the, like the South, like Louisiana, Texas, California, right? And she became close to a few of the brothers. Not all of them, because still a lot of them were back south, and my mom didn't go back. After she was born in Louisiana, DeRidder, Louisiana. And as a little kid, they moved to California, Northern California. They moved to Southern California, excuse me. They moved to Southern California when my mom was a little kid, and thereafter, her mom passed away from giving birth. And so my mom was raised by her grandma and her granddad, and her aunt. So her aunt was there. Her uncles were in the house at the time of her being brought up by her grandma, right? And so they were like close in age. And so her aunts, with my mom being the baby, and them being, well, they weren't close in age, but they were like about 10 years older, 12 years older than my mom. So with my mom being the baby, they kind of spoiled my mom, right? And so, let her have whatever she wanted. And this is like back in the 40s and 50s and stuff like that. My mom had me, and I'm the oldest of the six, in 1958, right? So she was 17 when she gave birth to me. I was 17 when I gave birth to my son. Now, unlike my mom, I did not have 6 kids. I got pregnant one time. Well, I got pregnant 3 times, and I had two abortions. Okay, so getting back to my mom. So then my mom's dad came into her life when she was, still a little girl. He was in the military at the time. When he got out of the military, he connected with my mom. And so my mom is still a little girl. And but one thing about my granddad, he was charismatic. He had a wonderful smile, a wonderful laugh. People loved my granddaddy, which is my mom's dad, right? And later on in life, he became a pastor in a church, and he married and had more kids. Married a different woman and had more kids, which to this day I keep in touch with one. And but when my mom, she had 6 kids by 3 different guys, and when my mom met my stepdad and remarried to my stepdad, We didn't call him stepdad, we called him dad because he, to me, in the beginning, was a good dad. And so my mom met my stepdad through a mutual friend, and he looked at my mom, and my mom was a beautiful, child. My mom was so pretty. She had these big, pretty legs, child, and my mom had hair down to her back, okay? And she had this cute, and remember pencil skirts, child? If y'all, like back in the day, they had like these cute pencil skirts and these stiletto heels, child. And my mom was working that. My mom was beautiful. She was like movie star beautiful, okay? And so when my mom and my stepdad got together, then they had two kids together, two girls, right? And so my mom had four kids before meeting my stepdad. And I'm only saying stepdad for references purposes, right? Just for the story. And so they fell in love, and then they got an apartment together. And it was a teeny up 2 bedroom apartment with four kids at the time, four kids and two adults, right? So there's 6 people there. But then my mom, like I said, my mom and my stepdad had 2 more kids, so that makes it so 8 people living in this teeny 2 bedroom apartment. My mom and my stepdad had their bedroom. The 2 babies, when they came, so I'm like speeding up the story, okay? I'm moving forwards, okay? So the 2 babies came. They're sleeping in my mom and stepdad's bedroom, and my all the all um, look, I'm trying to get this. So me, Juice, and Cynthia, I'm the oldest, Juice is the second oldest, and Cynthia's the third oldest, slept in 1 bedroom. And then Richard, was the only boy by another guy, slept downstairs in the living room. I'm gonna tell you something. We did not know we were poor. We had so much fun living 8 people living in that apartment. It was just amazing. And the reason I say when it rains, it just brings back memories is because I remember on Christmas, see, when we got older, let me back up. When we got older, the four older kids, right? Because the 2 were babies still. My mom there was this program that allowed parents to have childcare for free so they could go to college or whatever to better their life, right? So back then they had like all these different programs to help families that weren't so well off, right, financially. So, but my stepdad worked construction, and my granddaddy, which is my stepdad's dad, owned a barbecue cafe. Now follow me now, right? So he was my step granddaddy, but remember we took out the word step and just called him granddad and call him dad, right? So my dad would bring in money. At the time, my mom was not working, right? She was a housewife. My mom would keep the house clean. She would cook. And my mom was always friends with the neighbors. The neighbors loved my mom, and they became like family to us. And my mom would go visit them and the neighbors, and right, and the neighbors' kids. We would play with the neighbors' kids. It was like such a community back then. And my dad had his friends, and then my mom was friends with his friends, and my dad was friends with my mom's friends. And everybody, they didn't always get along, and they would have their riff. You know how people are. People are different. Everybody don't think the same, and sometimes it causes a problem, or people would get into an argument. But they would always make up, right? They would always make up, come back together, and be friends. Not like today when people, the littlest thing that you say to somebody, they ready to ghost you. They don't want to have nothing to do with you. It's just crazy nowadays. But back then, you could get mad at somebody, but then come back and be friends again. So getting back to the story, living on uh, this place called C Street, we're gonna call it C Street. That was the best childhood that I ever had. The best childhood I ever had. So they gave my mom, she got into the program that put us in, at the time it was called nursery. I don't know what that is. That's crazy. Forgive that noise in the background. Sorry about that, you guys. Hope it's not a fire because I'm not finished with my story yet. So my mom put us in this nursery, or childcare. Man, this is the best thing my mom ever done for us, because this childcare or nursery had like tutoring program for the kids. We would go on field trips. They would cook. They had a cook, and she would make homemade. She would make food from scratch. This lady would cook for these kids at this child care, and I think it was like 30 of us, and they broke it up in age groups, right? And they were like mobile. They were like little mobile, made out of. They were like mobile homes, that kind of material. If I could say, different like 4 or 5 mobile homes put together, and put 8 different age groups in each one, right? The little kids, the babies, would have to take naps and stuff. The older kids, middle, and so on and so forth. So, and you graduated when you were in the 6th grade. You no longer went there. But it was just the best place ever. The staff that worked at this nursery, they loved us. Except for this one guy, his name was Mike. He was racist. He was a white guy. He was racist. He used to throw us against the wall and squeeze our arm and say, but he got fired. They fired him real quick. But they were really good to us. I remember the cook, she would make this, it was called raisin bread, and it tastes just like cake. And so every Friday, I could not wait until Fridays, because every Friday, I think all the kids loved it. Every Friday, I forget her name though, she would make this raisin cake, and it was so good. And it was just an amazing place. And when it was nice outside, they had swings and a playground. When it was rainy like this, which is what made me think about this rainy day, made me think about this, they had games and learning material that we did on the inside, right? We would stand inside and have these little games and puzzles and stuff like that. I remember I got together with a group of people, kids my age at the time. I think I was like 10, right? And we wrote a play. A little skit, and we put it on the skit for the group of people. So they gathered all the age groups together after we rehearsed and everything. And they supported us in writing the script, rehearsing. It was just so wonderful. Now, this is going on while we are so called poor. Our life wasn't perfect. Later on in life, we hit some bumps in the road, but it was wonderful. The greatest thing that happened was there was this woman, Miss Brooks. Miss Brooks, Miss Kelsey, not Miss Brooks, but Miss Brooks was another person who used to we would have time off during the weekend and we could go over. This is when it was okay for the teachers to have students come over to their house, right? So some weekends the teacher would come and get us and we would have breakfast over their house, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun, and we were like ooh and awe because we lived in a little apartment and they had like this big old house. Miss Brooks had this big old house, and we were like, ooh, ooh, little black kids. Miss Brooks is a white woman. Ooh, she has this big pretty house, right? And so, but they were so sweet to us, and so Miss Calvi, she was married to Mr. Calvi, who was a judge, right? And what they did is they took Christmas was one of my favorite holidays because my mom got them all over the place. But during Christmas, Miss Calvi would take a list of the kids whose parents had a challenging time financially, and they bought them a bunch of presents, right? They talked to the parents and found out what did the kids want and stuff like that. And Mr. Calvi, who was the judge, came to our house. It was pouring down rain. I remember the wind was blowing so hard that it blew the door open. That's how flimsy it was. It blew the door open. My dad had to put something against it and knocked over a Christmas tree. And my dad had to put my stepdad back home. My dad, remember, stay with me. Put the Christmas tree back up, right? And it was time for us to go to bed, and we were like so excited. I remember my mom got us this calendar that had like these little flips. Each day of December, we would get to open up these little pop up. It was like a pop up, right? And you open each door of the day of the month of December. First day is this, oh, you got 30 days left until Christmas, or 20 days left until Christmas, whatever. And we thought that count, we couldn't wait. We go to the calendar, we couldn't wait to open up the next door and see what it would say, and it would say something positive. It was so cute. My mom, I remember we would stay up with our mom. Before going to bed, she would let us stay up, and she would cook from scratch. My mom would cook from scratch. Oh my God. My mom was such a great cook. She could have opened up her own restaurant if she wanted to. And so then it was time to go to bed, and we hear this noise. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Now, black little kids, we believe in Santa Claus, this family here. And so when Santa Claus came, we just like peeped down, and there was this white guy in a beard and, the whole Santa Claus get up with a big old bag of toys and stuff, giving it to our parents. And we were like, there is a Santa Claus. Come to find out later, that was Mr. Kelby, the judge, who did this for that small list of families that was on his list, right? I thought that was so beautiful. And so there you have it. But that is what rain triggers for me, is that moment there of, the rainy days bringing back the memories of that Christmas moment, even though it's not Christmas. But for some reason, it triggers the times that we had when I was a little kid, when we went to this child care center / nursery. And on rainy days, we had a safe place to be, right? How my mom would wash our hair in the sink. She would press our hair. Remember y'all, there was a pressing comb. I know this story is long, but there's a press. My mom would press our hair. Now she had 5 girls, and she would do this. But once a month, my dad, so my stepdad or my dad, would make an appointment, would allow my mom to make an appointment to take us all 5 girls and my mom to go get our hair done at the beauty shop. Okay, child. Probably people don't do that, but we did. So I just want to leave it there. Rainy days and memories, bringing back good memories. So that's what the rainy days does for me, and I miss those days of the community. My mom laughed, my mom cooking from scratch, beautiful holidays. She made them beautiful. My dad, when he would come home from work, he would have when he get his paycheck, he would cash a check and put a pocket full of quarters, have a pocket full of quarters and throw them on the floor for us to scramble for those quarters. He would buy us big hunks. Y'all, anybody my age remember the candy big hunks? Y'all remember big hunks? Oh my God. And so we would pop popcorn and have movie night and watch movies on TV. So I'll just leave that with you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me and having story time. If you want to give me a thumbs up, please do. Subscribe to my video, and I'll come back with more story time about my family. It wasn't all roses, like this story. And I'm going to share some bumpy moments, some sad moments. But I wanted to share that happy moment. I miss my mom. I miss her to pieces. I miss my brother. And now I don't see or have that community, and I miss that so much. So on that note, you guys have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there. If it's rainy, don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, and share it if you do. And I'll be back to do more videos. Bye-bye.